Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my videos. And today, guys, the top 5 elemental bloodlines in Shindo Life. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're going to be considering an elemental bloodline, a bloodline that can be equipped into the element slots and has elemental properties. So things like Ryan Rengoku and Forge Rengoku will not be on this list. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoy this video, hit that like button, click off for more. Let's get right to the video, guys. Now, coming in 5th is actually Paper. Now, the reason why Paper is going to be coming in 5th, this should be fairly obvious. It is one of the highest DPS output bloodlines in the entire game. First ability doing probably, I would say, about 80 to 90k damage out of mode. Third ability does about, I would say, 60k damage and is an insanely large AoE block break. The second ability, I would avoid using it if I were you. Basically, just toss a shuriken at people. And also, the Z-Spec does a flat 70k damage to people. So as you guys can see, Paper is just such a high DPS output bloodline. It just had to be on this list. Now, coming in 4th is actually be Variety Mud. Now, this should be fairly obvious why Variety Mud's going to be in 4th. It is one of the best stunning elemental bloodlines in the game, but simply because, you know, it doesn't have a mode, that's why it's going to be so low on the list, because a pure stunning bloodline is quite useful in combos. But other than that, there's not really any reason to ever use Variety Mud. But the golem does do a decent amount of damage out of mode. If you can get them to stay in one place, it does about 80k damage, which is one of the highest DPS output bloodlines in the game. Now, coming in 3rd is actually be Smoke. Now the reason why Smoke's going to be coming in 3rd is because it is one of the best support bloodlines of the game. The 3rd ability is actually a counter ability. You do need to get hit, but if you get hit while using the 3rd ability, is a counter ability and does do the same thing as the 2nd ability. The 2nd ability is basically the same thing as the counter, but you click on someone instead of, you know, the counter triggering. The main ability of Smoke actually being on this list is actually going to be this travel ability. You can hold it down for a significant amount of time, and it does damage people while you're actually using the ability on them. Now, overall, because of that, Smoke is just going to be one of the best. Now, Blood's actually becoming in 2nd. Now, the reason for this is because Blood is absolutely insane for combos. The 3rd ability can be used in a lot of different one-shot combos because you know, it drags people towards you, and you can use a bunch of attacks that normally would knock people back, but don't knock people back. Now, the 2nd ability here, the 2nd ability is going to be a life-stealing ability. You steal the same amount of HP as you take from them. So you get about 30k per person. It can hit more than one person. Now, the 1st ability is going to be a slight stunning ability. I would say it's a lot worse than the 3rd ability, but, you know, they just threw it into this to make it have even more stunning. So as you guys can see, it is insanely good for combos, and it is an insanely good support KG. Honorable mention was actually be Emerald. Now, this should be fairly obvious as well as a bunch of other ones on this list. Emerald just does a very high DPS output. It has insanely high AoE. It can be very annoying to fight. I would say Emerald is probably one of the biggest AoE, you know, elemental KGs currently in the game besides Variety Mud. So overall, Emerald, if you guys get Emerald, it can be very good as a standalone bloodline. You don't really need to use it as a support bloodline. Honorable mention 2 is actually be Inferno. Now this is really good for combo extending, because it can be used to extend M1 combos. You could also use this to extend normal combos as well, because the 2nd ability does provide M1 priority. So you can use any instant ability with the 2nd ability. Now, the 3rd ability is probably one of the worst ones of Inferno. It's basically just a pretty big, it's not even big. It's just a decently sized AoE ability that does about 30k damage and applies this burning effect on them. Coming in 1st is going to be Senko. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh, Senko isn't really, you know, it isn't an elemental bloodline, but I believe in Shindo Life it is. I know in Naruto, you know, it's not really an elemental bloodline, but I believe in Shindo Life it is, because it can be equipped into the element slots, and light is in fact an element. So I believe Senko is more towards being an elemental bloodline in this game. And if you guys don't agree with me, just move every other bloodline on this list up one slot. But yeah, Senko, 1st ability is a block break teleport that does an insane amount of damage. The 2nd ability is practically the same thing as the 1st ability, but does a block break and hits multiple people. 3rd ability is probably one of the best ones for Senko here, because it is a time stop, Deocycle time stop, just not as far range. Also, the Z-Spec is a pretty decent high DPS output ability. Anyways, guys, it's gonna actually be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button, click off for more. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.